noticed my niece was texting a lot, and I won't give exact details about the situation, but basically, she had found out that this kid she knew from the neighborhood, I'll call him Jerry. So Jerry, she had heard that he had made fun of a girl for something really, really bad. And so she asked him and said, Jerry, did you do this? And he said, no. And she said, I hope for your sake that you're telling the truth. And he said, what the heck? Why? Who's saying things? Who's saying that I said that? And she said, a lot of high schoolers really don't like you and they're saying a lot of things. And he said, oh, John? I'll say John Redfield. John Redfield? And she was like, no. And then she gets a call from Jerry's mom saying, I am appalled that you think that my son would ever make fun of someone for something like this. And that's all that she mentioned, you know, that's all that she said, right? And then Jerry is like he's getting like confrontational and angry. And my niece, I wish she wouldn't have said this. She said, pull up. We weren't home. He said he was going to come by with his parents. And you know what? We weren't home. My dad was. And my dad is a very angry person. He was taking a nap. His parents showed up to the house. His parents showed up to the house while we weren't even there. My dad was so mad. And so my dad tried to call. We were eating, so we didn't answer at first. Then we called him back, and he was just screaming. And so we get back to the house. Actually, first, I tried to mediate a little bit. And I tried to talk to this kid's mom, and I was like, hey, I think this thing got blown completely out of proportion. I don't think you should have come to my property. We could have handled this over the phone. You should have talked to her guardian, who is my stepmom. My stepmom has custody. And the first thing that she did was come to my house. And that was weird. My dad didn't deal with it. He told them to come back later. And so we get home and we try to ask my dad about it. And he said that those parents came by and said that my niece had placed a hit on their son. And we were like, what? Are you joking? My stepmom calls this kid's parents again and says to come back by the house. And so they do. And we tried to ask my niece, like, what are they talking about? And she's like, what's a hit? And we were like, that means you paid someone to like hurt someone or kill someone. And she was like, no. And so we like asked her, did you talk to anyone? What happened was the parents came by and they said that this John Redfield guy told Jerry that she was going to pay him $80 to beat Jerry up. When she heard that, she was like, what? I didn't do that. So we asked her what she said happened. And she was messaging this kid. And you know, kids just say shit sometimes. And what happened was she was saying to him, I can't believe that Jerry would do something like that and then lie about it. And John Redfield's like, yeah, I can't believe it either. And she's like, I think he should be hurt. And that's like all she said. That's like all she said. And that's all she said. She wouldn't even have $80 to give this kid. Like, she wouldn't. She's 13 years old. And so like, then like when she said, I think he should be hurt for what he did. And then he's like, yeah, I think so too. When the parents are here and like the parents are like, John Redfield say this to Jerry. And then my niece, I'll call her Zoe. Zoe was like, what? They're not even friends. Why would they like talk to each other? And the mom was so confident. By the way, they rolled up smelling like alcohol. The mom was like, no, John Redfield and my son are very, very good friends. And my son is a very good Christian boy. And so is John Redfield. They played basketball together at church. We know this kid and he would never lie about something like this. And so my niece really wasn't helping this. And she was like, but John Redfield is like, he's not like a good Christian boy. He like sells drugs in the neighborhood. Like he's always up to something. And he sells drugs in the neighborhood. Mind you, she's 13. He's 15. He's 15 years old. And they're like, no, we think you're lying and making all this up for attention. And you need to seriously control how you act around adults, young lady. And she's like trying to like state her case and they just kept throwing liar this, liar that at her. And also, I forgot to mention, before they ever talked to this John Redfield kid or his parents or even talk to us. They filed a police report against my niece. They didn't even have proof. They said they had proof that she had hired this John Redfield kid, but when they came to the house and said they had proof, they refused to show my niece any proof, but they showed me a Snapchat screenshot of John Redfield saying she hired a hit, but no screenshot of her saying anything, by the way. And they took that to the police and filed a police report. Can you believe that? That's fucking crazy. And then, like, yeah, kids still use Snapchat. Yeah. And so we kind of just had, because we didn't have like any like sense of what was going on. And so then after they left and we apologized or whatever, because they just would not stop whatever they wanted to believe. And they said like, you better not talk to my son ever again. You better stay away from all these kids in the neighborhood. You're dangerous. And then we get inside and we talk to my niece about it. And she is like, I never offered to pay anyone anything. I just said that Jerry, like, I felt like he should be hurt. And we were like, yeah, but you can't say things like that. I know that that's how you feel, but you can't say things like that. And then she was like, wait, I have proof that John Redfield does drugs. And we were like, really? She sent us like 8 videos of this 15-year-old boy smoking blinkers and showed pictures of his stash at his house and him saying a lot of profanity and slurs and stuff. He's 15, by the way. And I didn't know what a blinker was until then. And so I decided, send me all of this. So I sent that mom that came by our house, I sent her all these videos and I said, is this that good Christian boy that you were talking about? Is this that kid that you were so like, you know, so confident didn't do drugs or anything like that? And she was like, oh my God, I had no idea. She was like, well, he certainly will not be talking to Jerry anymore. And then after that, she was quiet for a bit. And then she talked to her son, Jerry. And it turns out this John Redfield kid orchestrated this whole thing. And he was trying to convince Jerry. He was like, hey, if you let me fake beat you up, I'll give you half the money. And I found out also that he had tried to make sexual advances on my niece and she rejected him. And I think he was trying to get back at her. Yeah, the money from where? Because it didn't fucking happen. The money from where? Because it didn't fucking happen. Yeah, he was trying to orchestrate the shit because he didn't like Jerry and he didn't like Zoe. And if you remember me talking about it, when Jerry was trying to figure out who would be spreading these terrible rumors about him, the first name he said was John Redfield. They were not friends. And his mom was convinced that they were super good friends. And I'm sure they don't like each other, but I'm sure her son is buying drugs off the street from him. And also, I just want to state, I don't think there's anything wrong with, you know, pot. But I don't think a minor should be doing it or selling it or distributing it. That's how I feel. I don't think children should be getting into that kind of thing. And so what's a blinker? It's like a vape or something. It's like a vape or something. And so I don't know. I was trying to figure it out too. And so we send them to this mom and she was like, yeah, it turns out that he was orchestrating the whole thing. I just finished talking to Jerry. And I was like, just thinking to myself, so you did all this shit. You filed a police report without even talking to that other kid or talking to his parents. And then when I was trying to see if she would talk to John Redfield's family about all this, she said, oh, it's not really my place. And I was like, you filed a police report and you don't want to, I don't know, settle this so the kid that orchestrated this whole thing gets punished? You don't want to deal with it? And so I'm just, And then I talked it over with my stepmom and I was like, look, I think this kid should get his just desserts, but if we cause any more issues, we don't know what he'll try against Zoe. We don't know what he's capable of if he'd do something like this. And I said, it might be best to just leave it for now until some other parent busts him. So, oh, she knows her son is lying. I know, right? He's probably buying drugs from that kid. It was so annoying. It was so annoying. My stepmom was so funny about it because she talked to the mom and we found out she was an ICU nurse. And as soon as we like closed the door on that lady, my stepmom said she's an ICU nurse. That's why she's such a bitch. I know, right? Where's this money coming from? There's no way that she would ever get anything. She doesn't have anything like Google Pay or can pay through Facebook. She doesn't have a credit card. She doesn't have cash. Because not only that, I don't know how the fuck these things are happening. My niece is homeschooled. She's just friends with these kids in the neighborhood. She doesn't even go to school with them. Like, where would she get the money? She doesn't go to school. She's not even at the school. And this lady filed a police report. That's on the record. That's on record. And then I tried to see if we could get anything done about it, and nothing can be done. And it's a very lengthy process to like reverse a police report. It's a very lengthy process. So she's just stuck with a fucking police report against her for something some other kid decided to like orchestrate and come up with. Ugh. It's so annoying. I like stayed up until like 11 p.m. trying to like talk to this mom and try to like mediate between everyone and get evidence against this other kid. It was so annoying. Ugh. Ugh. That was like my second like full day visiting my dad. And that was so interesting. I know! They escalated that situation so much so. And the thing was, when that mom first called us, it was only about the supposed rumor. And so that John Redfield kid must have been messaging Jerry in the middle of it, probably because he was messaging my niece and decided to use that against him and like against her and try to like make things seem way worse than they were so that he could get back at both of them. Because that kid did not like either of those kids. He did not like either of those kids. I know, they didn't even apologize. And I was like, we were talking and like that mom, she did say, she was like, yeah, I just can't believe he'd do something like this. And but she was like, your daughter, your niece, your grandchild, you know, to my stepmom, because we were talking through one phone. She was like, she still shouldn't have said that my son should get hurt. And we were like, yes, we totally agree with that. And we agreed that she shouldn't have instigated you guys to come by the house, but you shouldn't have shown up on my fucking property. Like, what the fuck? Are you gonna apologize for calling my niece a liar and saying she was making everything up for attention? And also another thing was like, she's like, my son would never make fun of someone for something like this. And then she went around and she said, also, we will deal with the way that he talked to your niece, because we looked at the messages of the way that he was talking to Zoe. He was saying so many terrible curse words to her. And then she was like, also, yes, he made fun of a bunch of kids last year, but he's worked through that and he's different now. Oh, so he has a history of making fun of people and bullying people. So he has a history. And you don't think that he'd do it again? You don't think he'd do it again? So she never apologized. She never said anything about undoing the police reports. The police report's just fucking there. And not only that, all these kids live in the same neighborhood. They all live on the same neighborhood, same street, everything. They don't go to school with each other. And then, also, you know how earlier she was saying, like, he's a good Christian boy? They are very good friends. They play basketball together. They are always hanging out. And then after I sent all those videos to her, she's like, well, we don't really know the kid that much. You know, they've just played basketball a few times. Okay, where'd all the confidence go? Where'd all the confidence go that you were, you know, preaching before? Shut up! You stupid bitch! It was so annoying. It was so annoying, and I had to step in and talk because my stepmom, she suffered a terrible concussion a couple years ago, and so she can't formulate or really process things as well as she used to be able to, and she can't really get the words out or really like put pieces together of certain things, so I had to handle all of that. And this mom would not shut the fuck up on my porch. I wanted her to leave so bad. Also, she said she filed a police report and she said she was gonna bring the police by our house. I think that they told her that she didn't have a strong enough case, which is why they didn't come to the house with her. Because it was just her rolling up. I know, this would have made great TV. This would have made great TV. Oh my god. And the thing was, like, she was doing all the talking, and she reeked of alcohol. She brought her husband. Her husband was actually quite nice, and he didn't do a whole lot of talking. And he was being very gentle and trying to, like, help, like, really get things out in the open, because his wife was obviously very charged, very irrational, whatever the fuck. But he seemed very nice. Yeah. If it makes you feel better, the police report is basically meaningless. Yeah, it's meaningless unless, like, something actually happens. Which nothing fucking happened, but that John Redfield kid was trying to make something happen. He was trying to fake this kid from getting, like... He was trying to fake this kid getting beat up. And I think he would have actually beaten him up. And he used, like... his cut of the money so that he would let him beat him up. He just wanted to beat this kid up. There was no money or anything. Still not too late to send those videos anonymously. Oh, I still have them. I still have them. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. But I don't know. I don't know. I found his parents' Facebook pages because they're all in the same, like, neighborhood watch Facebook group or whatever. His mom's a mental health nurse and his dad looks like he would beat his ass. It's so annoying. I just I want this kid to be punished for orchestrating this whole thing because it really put my niece through a lot. But I also worry if I do anything, he'll be able to trace it back to her and then like make her life miserable. Because he's friends with all of her friends and God knows what he's saying to them, you know? So annoying. So annoying. Get better friends. So true. So true. It's so annoying! Anyway, so that was the end of that day. And so the next day, my niece's mom, we were talking to her this whole time too, and my niece's mom was pissed, and she was like, God, I want to beat the shit out of those parents. We were like, we know. Day 3 was not crazier. There was nothing crazy after that point. There was nothing crazy. That was the craziest and